Tabitha, and it is day 6
of having a broken ankle
and not being able to do anything. So, you know what we're gonna do today? We're gonna explore the world of watercolor. A friend gave me this book, I don't know, a few months ago, back in October. It's been almost 6 months at this point. Just a watercolor workbook. And then I also got some watercolor paper just from Hobby Lobby. This is just a little tiny packet. It's $1.99. From Amazon, I got these Windsor Newton watercolors, and we'll see how this works out because I know this is liquid and I don't know if you're supposed to let it sit in the palette and kind of dry out before you use it, or if you can use it straight from the tube. I don't know, we're gonna find that out today. I've watched a few videos on YouTube and I feel like I have a general idea of how it works. I've never sat down to do watercolors before though, so it's a new experience for both of us. Also from Amazon, I got this palette. You put the colors here, and then I'm pretty sure with these tubes, you can use it even after it dries. So it's like you put it in there and then you can just reuse it. I also have just a basic pack of watercolor brushes. This was like $30 in total, I wanna say, like 35 maybe, for all of these supplies. I already had some washi tape. I'm gonna just use that to make the edges clean. But I'm really excited to explore this today as I
recover from my ankle.
We're gonna not think about the ankle today, and we're going to explore the world of watercolor. So come along with me. Laid out, and now we're ready to start practicing. This little book is so cute. Like, she's got this QR code where you can scan it for a free painting class. But I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and I think I kind of get the gist of it. We'll revisit that if I discover I don't have the gist of it. But I think I'm just gonna start with the very first thing in this book, which is just this little barn. So let's do that. So I clearly don't know a lot about watercolors yet, but from what I understand, what I'm doing here is called a wet on wet technique. And it's where you wet the paper and then you go in with the color, and the color sort of naturally bleeds together. This is what it looks like dry. I did the wet on wet technique. I don't know if I did it right. And I really love how it dried like in the edges. I think it looks really cool. So this is the first layer. These kind of spots are still a little bit wet, but I'm gonna go ahead and go in on this part with the second layer and see what happens from there. Something that I think I figured out while filming this video was that layering does a lot in watercolor, and you can do lots of different layers. You just have to wait for each layer to dry in between, and then you can get a deeper, richer color as you go. So when I was doing the trim, I decided to do it in gray, and I learned the importance of waiting until the first layer is completely dry, because what is this? It's okay, we're just gonna make it like it's a weathered barn. I'm gonna go with the vibes. But yeah, very important. Make sure the first layer is dry. unless you want it to look like this. Okay, so this is what my barn looks like. I think I could add more layers. I think it turned out cute, but also I want to get into my own thing. So let's do that. So I've seen lots of watercolor artists do this with washi tape, and it just creates a really nice border around your finished piece. Then I am doing the wet on wet technique again, I think, and I'm just going with the flow, like just painting whatever I felt like was in my heart at the time. And apparently my heart was at the beach instead of being cooped up in an apartment with a broken ankle. Okay, I'm living my dreams. You're seeing the visual manifestation of where I wish I was in this moment. Okay, and that's at a beach at sunset, and there's beautiful clouds, and yeah, you get the vision. So the washi tape was also really helpful in keeping the paper flat and making it be pinned down, because even though watercolor paper is thicker than normal paper, when it gets this saturated, it really has the tendency to try and curl, and the washi tape prevents it from doing that. Watching all of these colors, even just in this time lapse, just melt together so effortlessly and beautifully is so therapeutic to me. I think it's so beautiful, and I might be in love with watercolors now. While I was waiting for each layer to dry in between on the sunset painting, I also started a monarch butterfly painting, and I can't really decide which one is my favorite. So you guys let me know at the end when you see both of them which one you think is the best. So yeah, and again, I just look at how they're just bleeding together and melting together so perfectly. It's so satisfying. I think one of the really beautiful things that I've discovered about watercolor is that just the layering capabilities and the ability to get such rich pigmented colors is from that layering technique. And both of these probably have about 6 to 7 different layers of paint in some areas, and that's just because I really wanted some areas to be that really rich pop of color, and I just love the ability that watercolor gives you to do that. I don't know if this is just me, but as I'm watching this back in the editing process, I feel so reminded of the 1990s animated, it's like a British animated little series about Peter Rabbit and different Beatrix Potter tales. And in the beginning of that show, there's a woman in real life who's doing these watercolor paintings, and then you're kind of left with the impression that she's the illustrator of the story. And it makes me feel nostalgic. Even though I've never done this before, it makes me feel nostalgic because of that show. If any of you know of that show or watched that show as kids, then let me know, because I need to know that I'm not alone in my love for that little series. And in this clip, I'm just putting on the last finishing details for the monarch butterfly, just those cute little white markings. And here's a spread of all my favorite paintings that I did. I didn't put the barn on here because it's not one of my favorites, but I did do this basket of fruit that I think turned out really cute. You guys let me know which one is your favorite down below, and hopefully this inspired you to do something new this week, whether that be watercolors or something else. Just get out there and be creative. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.